everybody, and welcome back to our podcast, Season 3, Episode 7, Safety Update. And I'm here with my main man, Mr. Wallace Anders. Some of you guys know him as Wallace the driver, but most people have got accustomed to Wallace, our LP, and our lease purchase and true owner manager. He's here today to kind of talk about some safety updates, things we need to be aware of. Wallace did us a great job. A lot of people here in the office, we love Wallace. We appreciate everything he did, and we're glad to have him, to bring him on board, to have him be here for how long now?
Well, 2010.
2010.
I hired back in.
Good deal. How long have you been in office?
I've been in office since 2019.
2019. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, first of all, before we start digging into the LP program and the things we need to talk about with those guys, let's talk about some things that we've been experiencing here lately. And I'm glad that I have Wallace on here, because when I was a fleet manager, I was able to call Wallace and gain a lot of knowledge from him, because as you know, I onboarded to this business with no knowledge. And today's topic, that I really want to talk about is overweight fines. As we know, most shippers give you a gross weight before you leave. Well, what are you responsible for when you leave, Wallace?
Checking to see where the nearest Catskill is located.
And why, Wallace? Since you already have your gross weight, what are we checking for?
You want to make sure that you're axled out correctly.
Perfect. And Wallace, can you explain to someone that leaves a shipper with your gross weight, what should the next thing that driver do?
Well, before he leaves the property, he should be checking to see where the nearest Catskill location is. You got the app on your phone, so, just see where that location would be. Roll up on the scale. You don't even have to get out of the truck now. You've got it on the app. You can just do an electronic deal and roll on. It's like $13.50 to weigh it out. If you find out that you are over gross or over axle, you can go back to the shipper. Have it adjusted there. Let them get it right for you. Then go back to the same Catskill. About $4 to reweigh it. Make sure that it's correct. Because then when you get out on the highway and you go through a state scale, if you are legal, you're not going to have to worry about any kind of overweight fines.
Or being broke down over the road. Because as you know, you just heard, it's about $25 max. You would be out and maybe an hour and of your time. Mm-hmm. Versus being broke down on the side of the road or being shut down. Most Catskills are near shippers.
Yeah, they are.
It just make a lot of sense to do that. Mm-hmm. And so guys, if for whatever reason you can't find one, then get somebody on the phone, some representative on the phone for board, and let them move you. Yeah. So you're absolutely taken care of, guys. We want to help you guys be successful, but we need to make absolutely sure, that we have a gross weight and axle weight. Yeah. Just make sure we're wearing our loads, guys. And another thing I want to talk about, I'm so glad I have Wallace on here, because I had such a great time learning from this guy when I was a fleet manager. DVR, pre-trips, because, we've been harping on that. As you know what I'm saying? It's just things we need to do every day that we're responsible for doing every day. So talk to me about doing a pre-trip, from pre-trip to DVR.
No, it's just pre-trips is not rolling out of the bed, starting the truck and driving away. I mean, you have to actually get up. You got to open the hood. You got several things that you need to check. You want to make sure that you don't have anything leaking. Check your tires, check your lug nuts, make sure they're on. Mm-hmm. All the things that that need to be checked on that truck before you leave out, mm-hmm. and then document it. A pre-trip is going to take more than 2 or 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then when you leave from wherever you're located, you're given DOT less of a reason to want to pull you over and have you inspected. Yep. You just have to have all your stuff together.
Yep. Once that pre-trip is done, what's the process after that? Pre-trip to DVR.
Making sure that you document it through the Land McNally.
All right. So for whatever reason, during that pre-trip, if you find something wrong with the truck, what do we do?
No, if you find something on the DVIR, you record it, get with your fleet manager, maintenance, get it taken care of. When it's taken care of, you also have to report it back to the DVIR and your fleet manager. Have the documentation.
And that's perfect, guys. And why do we do this? We do this because we want to prevent you from being shut down on the side of the road by DOT for a flat tire.
Yeah.
And what you consider, and some guys, a flat tire is just in your mind. When you think about a flat, it's not looking at a tire and you can tell that it's deflated. That's not what they consider a flat tire. They consider a flat tire being not, your PSIs are off. You could be off by 5, you could be off by 10. That tire won't look deflated to you. So you need to check your tires. We actually provide in your kit that we give each driver that onboards here, we give a kit out. And in that kit, we have a tire gauge. Yeah. And we give it to you guys because we want you to actually stick those tires. We don't want you to go by and thump the tire. That tells you nothing. It's pretty simple. Go by, stick, look, make sure you're in line with the DOT regulations, and that'll keep you from being shut down on the side of the road, guys. Make absolutely sure that we're checking these things each and every day. It's a part of the job. And we'll continue to call you guys about these things. We'll continue to pump out safety videos because we're only trying to take care of you. Anything else you want to add? Well, one more thing I want to add is we pay $300 for a clean inspection. So I just don't understand why guys don't want to do it anyway. I always want to be clean. That's big money. Yeah. And I know that make you kind of jealous because I think at the time that you was getting your clean inspection, it was about $50.
Yeah, it was $50.
So it's times have changed, guys. And that just showed the importance, how important it is to be safe at Boyd Brothers. Anything else you want to add?
Well, just to talk about the tires that you mentioned, a lot of the scales, when you go through them, they've got all types of sensors. They can tell if you've got a float leak tire. They can tell if your brakes are out of adjustment. I mean, these are the kind of things that you should be checking on your pre-trip.
Yep.
And if you don't catch it, you don't want DOT catching it.
Yep. And as you remember, and I'm glad that you mentioned technology, we can reference a couple episodes ago with Mr. Hopkins. He talked about the new DOT, the new technology that DOT have to kind of check these things by just walking around or, like you said, rolling up on the scale. Yeah. So you can go back and watch that episode if you need to kind of see where technology is going today. So now we're at that segment to where I'm finna highlight my man. I think this guy does a great job taking care of our drivers and kind of, leading the guys in the right way. Mr. Anders, talk to us about lease purchase drivers and what they need to do to be successful.
Well, first thing is take a load home over the weekend. Let the shipper pay you to go
Always.
home. I mean, because if you go home empty on the weekend, you might get a little more home time, but you're not going to get that back on the paycheck.
Yep.
And, you're already starting behind if you don't have yourself set up for a successful beginning of the week. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things. Lease purchase, owner operators, you've got more freedoms to do certain aspects versus a company driver. Mm-hmm. But, when you start becoming too picky and too just wanting to do certain things your way, that's going to cost you on the settlement take home. Limiting yourself on where you're willing to haul freight. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that the owner operator lease purchase individual can do to maximize that money every week. But going home every weekend with an empty trailer or refusing a load because you don't think it's going to pay you enough, for every day that you sit, you're going to have to make that money up. The bills keep rolling in.
Yep.
And that's the thing.
All right, guys, you heard that right. So things that you need to pay attention to be successful as a lease purchase driver. Always take a load home. It's math. Trucking is math. And you probably need to show up before 10 p.m. because before 10 p.m., 10-hour break, that's 7 a.m. in the morning, And you always have to remember that's still Friday load.
Yep.
So once you get that load off, your week just started. You need to give yourself the best opportunity to be successful with a full clock, because, you know, depending on how things go, a lot of things that's out of our control in the trucking industry. As a trucking company, we're the third party. Someone pay us to pick their freight up and deliver it to their customer. So usually, if you've ever heard the saying, the early bird gets the worm, same thing. Not a lot of problems go on between the hours of 7 to 10 when you're getting loaded. Most of those guys can cover 200 or 300 miles before some of these guys that get out of the bed at 1 o'clock Monday morning and drive for those 8 straight hours. And now you're limited on what you can do. But that guy that got there, there you go. That guy that got there Sunday night and took a 10-hour break, he can do whatever it takes to get a load and give him the best opportunity to get off the next day, because it's a very aggressive program. So you have to be aggressive. Yeah. So that's just one of the things. That's just some things that, you know, you guys need to pay attention to. That Wallace say, let's not stop being choosy. You know, we need to change up our areas, because, as you know, no one makes a living on 10 and 20. No. I know you got to go north of 40 to survive this program. So I'm glad you decided that you wanted to share some knowledge with some of these guys about what it takes to be successful in this program. But guys, just to tag on to what Wallace say, just make sure you're communicating with us. A lot of people dedicated to your success. We want to help you. We don't think you know it all, you know, and we want you guys to solicit our help versus trying to do it all by yourself. Yeah. You know, in anything that you're doing, you always need help. So just ask for help, as there's a lot of people dedicated to that. All right. So just want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening to us. If you want to catch this episode, you can catch it on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, any other social media site that's out there. Any driver looking for a truck driver career versus a truck driving job?
That's right.
Go boy.
Go boy.